Hi everyone, this is Dr. Michele Alignay, your family psychologist. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele. I'm going to have conversations with you about family life, relationships, and faith, and I hope you join our conversations here at this YouTube channel. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele Alignay. This is another Thursday morning of conversation regarding family life and well-being. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. This is a Thursday. As I said again, we're going to talk about something that is maybe critical, maybe not really talked about, but maybe we all need to hear about it. So join me this morning. Join me for another thoughtful discussion. And let me know where you are. Let me know, friends, where are you watching? So this morning, I'm going to talk to you about something that I always read, I always encounter. Dami kong mga bagay na nakikita at na-encounter about this. Pero minsan, hindi ito pinag-uusapan. Pinag-uusapan namin to in terms of cases. But I'm going to put this information out there for you to understand what overparenting is about. So I'll repeat that term, overparenting. Good morning to everyone who's watching. Good morning to my dear professor, Dr. Paz Manaligot. Hi, Miss. Thank you for joining me. Ready your coffee? Ready your thoughts? Ready your openness? Because this morning, I believe that our topic is meant to be, it's connected to our topic the other day. Our topic the other day, it's about, oh, do you remember? That's failure to launch. And failure to launch is actually rooted on overparenting. Is overparenting only for parents with young kids? Yes, actually, it's setting the tone for how the children will be. But honestly, it's also good to understand that if we overparent our kids, we are setting them for possible failure to launch later on when they're older. And that's a reality. We see this happening, but I don't know with you. I see this happening. And I would like to guard my own heart and tell myself, no, I don't want it to happen to my own children. I don't want to parent them. While we are all, wanting to give our best to our kids, diba? We all want to give our best to our kids. Pero the reality is that we don't want to set the stage for them to fail later on. Do you agree with me? If you are a parent, can you please put that there in your comment section if you are a parent? And bakit ko to na-observe that it might be possible that this might be happening? Kasi yung parenting, raising children, if we are not cautious and mindful, we would swing by being too permissive, meaning giving our kids everything. Or we will swing to the other extreme, yung lahat ibibigay. We would bend the world for them. Ito yung sinasabi ng ibang pag-aaral, ito yung tinatawag nila na helicopter parents. Pero let's just use the word for this morning, overparenting. Honestly, I think you would agree with me, friends, that our goal as parents is raise our kids to be independent adults, independent in their psycho-emotional, independent in their psycho-emotional well-being, independent in the self, quote-unquote, the self, independent in their finances, independent in the way they do their life, in the way they lead their life. So, what am I saying here is that many times I note this, but it's so hard to tell people na, hey, it might be that you are overparenting your child. Because, parenting is very sensitive. And tayong mga Pinoy, meron tayong kultura na parang we don't want na makialam sa pamilya ng iba. So, bakit ko nasabi na we can see a lot of overparenting patterns now. The thing with overparenting is that many parents feel that I don't want ito yung malaki nilang hugot, I don't want my children to feel or to go through what I've been through when I was younger, na pinahirapan ako ng parents ko. They see that their circumstances, it's actually they're punished during their childhood. And another tone also, that that they are neglected. But it's not about that. So that the other extreme, they go to the other extreme. Since nag-neglect ako, ayokong pagdaanan ng anak ko. I will make sure that everything is taken care of and provided for my kids. And that is good. And that is good. But you need to understand that doing it all the time for everything that the child needs, attending to their needs, even even their boredom needs. Parents now are very much afraid for their kids to be bored. They're even afraid that bababa yung internet connection pag nag-online learning yung anak. They're afraid na baka hindi makafocus yung anak ko sa classroom. And that's okay. That's very valid. But I would like to tell you, parents, there are some things that we cannot control. That's why the tendency is that they overdo things. They overdo things for the child. That the child, when the child is encountering difficulty, when the child is disappointed, when the child is bored, when the child is frustrated, parents, we have a tug. There's a tug in our heart and in our gut that I need to help my child. Nahihirapan yung anak ko, hindi ko kayang makita na nahihirapan sila. While it is good to know, let us look at what's the concern about. Is it really a matter of life and death? Is it just a concern of, normative stress happening to a child? Or it's really a severe distress that's going to affect them totally, wholly? So we need to be mindful. We need to be in the middle of everything, to be objective. Because in truth, these are truths that I would like to raise here. We do not want to neglect a child. Tama po ba? We do not want to neglect our child. And that's a given. We do not want to, kaya nga tayo ginawang magulang kasi we do not want to neglect our children. And that is a given. But, another truth is that overparenting can do more harm. And I would repeat that. While we do not want to neglect our child, overparenting and over-sustaining them may do more harm. And the biggest harm is that they might not be the responsible, independent adults we would hope them would be. Kaya ang dami kong minsan maririnig sa conversations, may mga friends na magtatanong, honestly, kailangan ko magkape sa sinasabi ko ang tatanungin nila is that, bakit ganun yung anak ko? Matanda na siya, hindi pa rin siya makatayo sa sarili niyang paa. Bakit ganun? And then, you know that the overparented child, it's actually the syndrome we talked about last Tuesday, and that is the failure to launch. There are people who are adults already. They're successful in their career. They are intellectually matatalino. Pero, magaling sila. Pero their mental health, they cannot make decisions. One of the worst thing I've heard that was asked to me by someone is that, tama ba yun na yung nanay pa yung pupunta sa opisina ng anak para to make excuses kung bakit hindi makapasok yung anak niya? Wow, that is really a severe case of overparenting. Because if you look at it, the anak is an adult already. He's already employed. They're supposed to have financial independence and also that independence of decision making. The independence of learning how to do it on their own, learning how to cringe. But then, the overparented child, pwedeng magaling yung anak nyo, pwedeng successful sila sa career. Pero ito, kaya nagkakaroon ng trial ngayon because this is the pandemic season. Many people are coping with anxiety. Many people are trying to control the unknown. Why? Look at these parents. Let's just reflect on it. It's just my thought right now. Hindi ito nakasulat sa notes ko. If we have perfected life too much for our kids, now in this pandemic, life is not perfect. They don't have travels to look forward to. They don't have set plans. They don't have their lessons that has been working on for the family. We don't have that things that we've been holding on to that the family has been wired. And then if everything that is about our child is already perfected by the parent, how can the child be? Kaya ang madaming tanong ng parents, bakit ganon anxious yung anak ko with this pandemic? Maybe because everything has been, you've set the stage for them. And if you've set the stage for them, now that it's a difficult situation and we are not in control of too many things other than what happens inside the house. Ako sa akin, yan lang yung kontrolado. What happens inside the house. Not even the people inside the house. What happens lang inside the house. We cannot buffer it for them anymore. So many parents are frantic. They're frantic about online learning. They're frantic about, paano yan pag yung anak ko hindi makasurvive? Paano yan if my child is bored? Paano yan pag hindi ko masuportahan yung anak ko? Let's rephrase, ano ba yung suportang kailangan? Baka naman ang kailangan lang ito and iniisip mo 10. Ang kailangan lang suporta 1, 2, 3. But you're planning for 10. And, friends, let's reflect on it. Are you still with me, friends? Can you just type there the word overparenting if you are still with me, if you are still listening. Parents cannot always buffer. Sa dami ng tanong during parenting talk, ito yung madalas kong sagutin. Paano po pag merong impluwensyang hindi maganda sa labas? Paano po pag nabully? Paano po pag meron mga hindi magandang tao na naka-offend sa anak ko? I would always tell parents this. I don't know also in reality. Pero ang one thing that I'm assured of, parents cannot always buffer the harm or the risk encountered by our children. We cannot buffer or we cannot always caution the risk encountered by our children. But mind you, we are not in control of what happens outside, but we are in control, or we can manage how we relate with our kids, how we tell them about life, that it may be cruel outside, but there's more mission in life. So, yun, kontrolado natin yung little conversation, that showing them a bit of reality. I'll just give a classic example. Many parents are afraid that if their kids will go online, especially the big kids, maraming matututunan na hindi dapat. Totoo yan. Pero ganito, paano nila matututunan na may masasamang impluensya? That there are a lot of risk outside if we are not going to expose them or tell them about this risk. Anak, online there are online predators. Anak, you see, there might be people messaging you. They would not be open to this reality. Kaya honestly, it's not about our kids not being innocent. But let's rephrase it. Many times, we have the tendency to limit our kids from becoming informed to the point of their becoming ignorant. Tayo rin yung nag-shield so much. So I'd rather that my kids are informed. I'm not taking away his or her innocence, but we are not making them. At least they know the risk. At least they know, oh no, this is what mom or dad has told me about. So here, the goal of parenting is to make decisions. The goal of parenting, as I always share with you, the goal of parenting is to raise our children, not to need us, to raise our children to be self-regulating adults. Meaning, hindi mo na kailangan pagsabihan. Hindi mo naman kailangan sabihin na magtrabaho ka, hindi mo kailangan sabihin mag-apply ka, hindi mo na kailangan diktahan. You don't need to coach them or because they're self-regulating. And we also want them to be competent. They know their talents well. We don't need to tell them their talents because they already know, because they have that individuation process when they are adolescents. And of course, the goal of parenting is to make our children effective in dealing with other people, because we are all social beings. And nagsisimula rin yan how we're dealing with them in the house. Napaka-tricky ng parenting, friends. But balance is key. The balance to nurture and support. I'll give you 2, nurture and support. But the other end is when to say no, and din yan, no, and step back. Friends, if you have big kids, are you willing to step back? Pag sa tingin mo nahihirapan yung high school mong anak with online learning, are you willing to step back in the process? Pag sa tingin mo yung anak mo alam yung lesson ng teacher, pero hindi siya nag-raise ng hand or hindi siya nag-participate, pero naririnig mo in the process na she doesn't want to participate but she knows. Are you willing to step back? Pag yung internet connection hindi stable all along, tapos yung anak mo, Mom, anong nangyayari? Are you just willing to say, it's part of life, it's okay? How willing are you to step back? Are you the nurturing and supporting? It's our primary duty. But there are situations that we have to say no and we have to learn to step back. So balance is key. And let us reflect on some of the points that we can do to be able to avoid overparenting. One, we have to teach kids problem-solving skills. Don't fix what's wrong. Ito, I think, common mistake. We always want to fix things for our kids. Sometimes, all we just need to do is just listen to our kids. I remember when Migo was younger, I think he was grade 4 or 5. He was so overwhelmed with work. As parang umiyak na siya. First time ko siyang nakita. This boy of mine is really so diligent. He's a self-starter. Hindi ko siya kailangan i-monitor. But that afternoon, he was really frantic. He was saying, Mom, there's just too much. There's just too much, Mom. Because that time, I think he has a book report. And then another thing is that he has basketball training after class that he loves so much. And then the following day, I know they're going to compete for a dance in the district. But it's just too much. Ang dami. And then he has some quizzes. And also, I know that it's a time of adjustment. So, what did I do? I just listened to his whining. And then I sat down with him. And then asked him, what is your priority? What do you need to do first? What is easiest for you? And then he keeps saying, but Mom, there's just too much. There's just too much. I cannot do everything. Yes, I understand, anak. There's just too much. Sabi ko, okay, then what is it that you need to do right here, right now? Ano yung kaya mo? And then he was able to identify, I need to review for this. What about my paper? What about my book report? I need to submit one tomorrow. Go, let's find a way later. But I'm tired after training. Let's see. Sabi ko, anak, ito muna. Right? I'll stay with you. I'll stay with you. I did not say I'm gonna do it for you. I'll stay with you, anak. I think we spent an extra hour that night just doing what he needs to do. Yung paper niya, he postponed it. You know, the following day, he went home from school so triumphant. He enjoyed basketball training. And then I asked him, what happened to your quizzes? It's okay, mommy. And then what happened to your book report? I found an extra time during recess to be able to finish it. So, all I need to do now, Mom, is just to write it down. So I go, wow, such a wonderful process. But I have to step back. If your child is not a self-starter, and she's about 7 or 8, and then start training them. You can start training them, but I'll tell you, you have to get to know the temperament of your child. Not all child are self-starters. Some would, you have to give them you have to suggest and work on a workable schedule. You have to tell them what you expect and set the limits, and you have to step back when needed. Because that's problem-solving skill. I did not tell the teacher na bakit naman ang daming yung lesson? Bakit naman ang daming pinapagawa? So sa akin, parang triumphant. I come out triumphant. And it's also learning negotiation skill. Another way for our kids to learn negotiation. So one, teach them problem-solving skills because our kids will find a way to resolve their own problems. And the mere way that we are fixing their own things, that's not helping. Yung pinagliligpit pa natin sila ng gamit nila, they're bigger, that's not helping. Because that's their clutter. So do not keep doing things for them. Another area is that we can learn negotiation skills. What do I mean by negotiation skills? Learning conflict resolution, logic, empathy, and interpersonal communication. There comes a point that in our parenting, of course, we have to live with the reality that our kids will always bicker. They bicker here, maya-maya, magkayakap na sila. So, but that's exactly where learning conflict resolution is about. So, yung sumbungan, alam niyo yung susumbong na, Mom, si Kuya, well, that's my daughter. Mom, si Maiya, she would not follow. There was a point that we will just smile. Minsan yung mag-aaway sila, they're shouting at, biting at each other. Kung hindi naman nagkakasakitan, then wala naman tayong kaso doon. Minsan, ngingiti lang kami. Sabi ko sa anak ko minsan, Anak, anong sabi ni Mom? I need to resolve it. Sabi ko, yes, when they were younger, yun ang sabi ko, resolve that issue. That's your issue with your brother. Of course, pag naman downtime nila, we tell them, you love each other, you serve each other. Sometimes kaya napipikon si kuya kasi you react this way, and kaya naman napipikon si little girl kasi si kuya nang aasar. So, you just have to learn, but this is conflict resolution. And when they assert themselves to us, wag lang rude. Pag sinabi nila, Mom, but I cannot handle it right now. That's already learning negotiation skills. Kaya if we are afraid that our kids will be limited in their interpersonal skills while they learn from home, they're not, because they have the parents. They have us to negotiate. Kaya ang goal here, wag natin ibibigay lahat. Wag natin pepertektuhin lahat. Kasi pag binigay natin lahat, ano pang pagkatrabahuhan nila? Also, it's also building their emotional quotient. It's also being to learn how to manage their emotions. So, alam niyo yung paboritong tanong na, paano pag na-frustrate yung anak ko? Paano pag nainis siya? And then let them stay with the frustration. What if they're so bored, they cannot focus? And then let them stay with the boredom. So, they'll know how to focus on their own. The fault of many parents, of us parents in our generation, is that we overstimulated our children. Kaya tinatanong nyo, bakit naboboard yung anak ko? Paano? Lagi mong gina-perfect yung schedule na dapat gawin to ng anak ko. Ito, the whole day. You perfected life for them. You did not allow them to have an ounce of free play so that they can learn how to manage their boredom. In our house, when my kids are younger, I did not allow them to use the word bored. Sabi ko, you have so much here in the house. But if you would ask me, did I make a schedule of the kind of play my kids will be into? No. I did not do that for them. Una, I'm working. Second, I played with them, but I did not perfect the play. I provided them with everything that they might need, they're interested about, but the schedule, it's up to them. Because we are the ones who overstimulated them. Now, we have the problem that how can they stay put? Because we did not make them focus. Because we perfected whatever we are giving them. Binigyan natin ng gadget pag naboboard. Oh, ito, gawin mo. Oh, ito. And then you should do this. Oh, this is nice for you. So, and they do not already have a chance to create their own playlist in their head of what they will do when they're boredom. Because na-perfect na natin yung playlist. Literally play for them when they were younger. So, it's also doing them harm. So another area that you have to do is that help them manage expectation. Help them manage expectations that, yung sinasabi sa atin ng parents natin, nung maliit tayo, okay lang yung injection kasi para lang yung kagat ng langgam. Masakit ya. Pero hindi na lang sinabi na masakit. Masakit yung kagat ng langgam eh. So for me, managing expectation is that it's gonna be painful. I'll just share with you, my daughter has a swab test because she has amoebiasis and it's a protocol to have swab test. And then she asked us, is it gonna be painful? Yes, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be uncomfortable, anak. That's managing expectation. We can tell them, anak, it might be different. It's not gonna be the same thing that you're used to, but I know that you can look for things that you can look forward to in their online learning. So, it's managing expectation. Huwag natin sabihin na, anak, madali lang. Anak, kaya ko yan. I can buy that for you. We cannot say that. Even though kaya natin, ibibigay ba natin? That's, isa sa nakita kong problem when I was a young counselor. Merong parents nagkakaroon ng concern yung anak nila with getting of things, with, naiinggit sa classmates. Meron talaga mga ganyang scenario. But the value behind the parent when they talk to them, it's not that the value of simplicity. It's the value of, pag nagkapera tayo, gagawin natin, bibigay ko yan sa'yo. So that's not already managing expectation. Help them and manage expectation. Teach them that life is hard. Tell them stories of how you were when you were younger. Tell them that life is hard. That even though that you can afford the latest gadget for them, you're not gonna buy it for them. Why? Because there's an old gadget that's compatible with the school needs, and it may not be too efficient. It may have low memory. Sabi ko nga sa anak ko, it's nice that it has low memory. At least it cannot have all the apps that you want. Because if it has all the apps that you want, and then you cannot focus on schooling. So you will use that 2-year-old gadget that is very helpful and functional for you in school. So life is hard. Yes, the internet connection may not always cooperate. Yes, your teacher might, minsan yung, I really don't like this teacher. Mom, this teacher, I really don't like. Yeah, it's okay. You will encounter people like that. I'm not the one going to go to school to write the teachers. I can go to their school president because I'm a consultant of the school. I can go to the school president and tell the school president, hey, that teacher is not treating the kids. It's not, they're not doing well. Because I know that my child will encounter different kinds of people, and I know that teacher, it's a teachable moment, that they might encounter somebody who has a different way of doing things. So I'm not gonna do it. Even though I can, I'm not gonna do it. Ito yung sinasabing, don't manipulate the academic system for the kids. I am in an educational system. I've seen the parents, and I've seen them demanding from the school. And if it's already a matter of life and death, yes. But I believe that now, the worst thing that parents can do not to help and cooperate is that makikialam sila sa online learning ng teachers. Yung bang if you are nakikita nila yung ways ng teachers at home, tapos sabihin, i-feedback nila, itong teacher na to, hindi pinapansin yung anak ko, itong teacher na to, hindi maayos yung kanyang language. Parents, we can be more compassionate because I'm a teacher also. I teach in the higher education. But don't set the stage for them, because our kids need to be experiencing different kinds of people, different ways of doing things. Maybe not their usual way, but novel ways, so that they can learn to adjust and adapt. And also, we have to give them space. Give them space. Give them their own quiet time. Give them time to close the doors for you. They're entitled to their own secrets. They're entitled to their own process, especially when they're becoming big kids. And then allow them, if they're younger, allow them to play, to regulate themselves and interact. You know that play for children, it's work for adults. So if your kids are wanting to play by themselves, wag po kayong maawa. Napakagandang proseso niyan yung mag-anak nyo. Naglalarong mag-isa with their blocks, naglalarong mag-isa at their, their mind, what I call this, imaginative play, nagkukunyarian. Mommy, can you hold this for me because I'm pretending to be like this? You just do what they ask you to do. Mommy, can you do this? And then don't be the one to overstimulate them and to set that stage of play, because it will limit their creativity. So give them space. Don't tell them how to do things. They have a way of doing things. Allow them to play. Don't overreact over grades and mistakes. I think ito yung isa sa pinaka-worst that we're doing. We overreact with grades and mistake. Pag may naka-offend sa kanila, parang, sino yan? Sino yung batang yan? Ayan. So, minsan pag may naka-offend, tingnan natin, is it a good teaching moment? So, ang tip ko sa inyo, parents, as an educator and as a psychologist, huwag nyo pong aawayin or do not complain to the parent of the other child. Kahit kaibigan nyo yan. The worst thing that happened to me is that, alam nyo yun, yung mga nasa community, tapos kilala nyo yung mga parents ng anak nyo, yung may dumiretso sa akin ng complaint
Kahit anak ko yan, kung may complain ka, dalhin niyo sa school. Kasi the school will have the proper jurisdiction. Kasi kung sa atin yan, nakakita na ako ng mga parents na kulang na lang mag, what you call this, magdimandahan dahil sa away ng bata. Away ng bata na napakasimple, nagbatuhan. Away ng bata na nagpikunan. Nung minsan may nagreklamo sa akin tungkol sa anak ko when my son is in still in preschool, yung anak mo, hinihila daw yung buhok nung apo ko. Sabi ko, alam ko na hindi nangihila ng buhok yung anak ko. So just to check, hindi ko yun anak. Another nakapangalan niya. 'Di ba? So, we have to get the story right because there are different ways of looking at the story. So, don't overreact with grades and mistakes. And then, life can be mean. The outside world can be so imperfect. So, as parents, we should just need to stay in the process with our kids. If they're offended, be the listening ear. Nagtataka ako nung maliit ako, bakit yung nanay ko, hindi siya sumusugod sa school. Kasi yung ibang parents, ganun yung ginagawa. Meron nang aaway sa akin nung grade 1 ako, kasi new student ako. What I wanna do is my mom to go to my teacher and complain. But she never did. And what I'm wondering about is my dad, never niya kaming hinatid sundo sa school. Kahit na ginagabi na kami, sabihin nila, mag-commute kayo, makakasakay din kayo pa uwi. Yung talagang, I think, mga thrice in my high school life lang ko sinundo. Yung tipong may bahana, yung ganyan. But, looking at that, that's how they taught us that we need to deal with reality. We need to deal with the opportunities that we learn. We learn from the mistake. We learn from the mistake of others. We learn that there are mean people. We learn from circumstances. We learn from the imperfect situation. We learn that life is hard. Ako gusto ko yan matutunan ng mga anak ko. They have less opportunity than me to learn from life, especially in this pandemic. But I can tell them about what they can do. So, pinapalabas ko yung anak ko to buy soft drinks from the nearby store. Napakalapit. Pero para sa akin, sige na, we cannot be in control of too many things. And then, I make him accountable for his schedule. Anak, anong schedule mo today? So, let's see what will happen if my kids are younger. But I hope, or when they're older, don't overreact. I limit myself from overreacting. Whereas, be the supportive parent. Stay with them. But do not answer the world for them. Don't set the stage or manipulate the system for your kids. Meron tinatawag na parents who are plo. Plo, meaning yung plo, yung mechanism na yung parang malaking shovel, tatanggalin niya lahat dahil dadaan ng anak ko. That's overparenting too. And last point, do not invest more than what your child will do. Especially for parents of young kids, huwag kayong mag-invest sa project at huwag kayong mag-invest sa reviewer ng anak nyo, siya yung magte-test. So, just a reminder for parents who are kids online learning, I am not a follower of those meme na sinabing na parang ako yung naka-enroll. I have to share with you, let's check our hearts and let's check our intentions. The role is to just stay in the process and to support, to guide. But our role will never be the student. We are the parents. Your role will never be the teacher. Because actually, we are the teachers already. We educate them for life. Choose to educate your children while in this pandemic about life, budgeting, cause and effect of things, house chores, and being part of the household. But if your kids are bigger, try to limit your involvement. Only just guide them, but never be the one to sit down in class. Huwag niyong gagawin yung, uupo ako para maintindihan ko yung lesson, para maituro ko sa'yo. That's perfecting life too much. We are removing that golden opportunity for both of us to learn in the process. To learn in this pandemic and to be uncomfortable with things. Parents, napakahirap maging parent. Pero naniniwala ako, if we are mindful of our little acts, we can see, am I preparing my child for the world, or am I perfecting my child's life too much? So let's reflect on that. Am I preparing my child for the world, or am I perfecting my child's life too much? Remember, it's a balance between nurturing and no, saying no, and it's about a balance between supporting and giving them space. Should I support or give them space? Pag hindi kailangan tumulong, just stay there. If your child is being uncomfortable pero alam nyo kaya niya, just stay there. Pag alam nyo na, ay, golden opportunity to para matuto sila, stay back. Tigasan ng sikmura and know where your heart is, because I believe we all can do it, to raise our kids, not to need us. To be the cheerleader, not the one who will play the ball game for them, the ball game of life. Magandang araw. This is Dr. Michele Alignay. I hope that you learned something in the session of Coffee Break. Don't forget to share this to family and friends. And I would like to plug, the details are out. If you're interested in the Martha's Pause program, the details are out. There are some who already registered as early as now. So please check my Facebook page for the details. It will be on September 12. It's an exclusive session that I promise you days before the session. We'll have a process and a journey that we can do together. That's Martha's Pause. Renewed and resilient, dahil lahat tayo kailangan natin i-renew ang sarili natin while we are still bracing through this difficult situation. God bless you all. I hope you join me on that special day. That's Martha's Pause. Check out the details here in my Michele Alignay page, and I hope you learned some things today, and please share this to family and friends who might need that. I'll see you again on Tuesday for another session of Coffee Break.